This is the Get Better Everyday podcast with Matt Gouget. Actionable advice from real-life superheroes who, just like you, are in relentless pursuit of the best version of themselves. Whether you're just getting started or have been at it for years, my hope is that this podcast injects you with some positive energy to continue doing what brings you joy. Join me as I interview the best of the best in business, sports, and life. Let's grow together. All right, Get Better Every Day with Matt Gouget. I have the honor of having a very special guest today, professional coach V, coach, author, national keynote speaker, community leader, Hollywood radio show host. You can add on whatever, but as we start 2023, I know people have big goals. They've got big dreams. I want to inject them with some inspiration. I want to inject them with some words. So thanks for being on, Coach V.
Matt Gouget, it is my pleasure. I don't have a cool name like Matt Gouget, being a Viliami Tuivai, but man, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you shortened it to Coach V. That's a lot easier for me.
And that's why people call me Coach V. People are like, "What did you coach? What do you coach?" No, it's just because nobody wants to try the name. That's all.
Right. It's good. So you got a bunch of different things going on. Tell me, maybe where to start. What's the plan for 2023? I know people have laid a bunch of plans for things they have going on in 2023. What are your plans?
Yeah, so just like with my clients, I believe there's a mission that's required. So individually, my mission statement still remains the same as in prior years, where that I'm working to be my best and live my best life. As a family unit, our family mission going into 2023 remains the same, is to work to be our best and live our best life wherever we are together. And then in terms of my company, Coach V LLC, in terms of corporate coaching, and then private sessions it is that I provide, is that I impact positively how it is that people think, how they feel, what they do, how they see things, and how they say things, broken down professionally now into mindset, emotional intelligence, performance, perspective, and effective communication, so that they can work to be their best and live their best life. So my mission for what it is that I do personally within my family, which most of the time trumps what it is that I want in terms of my individual endeavors and achievements that I want. And then for my clients, they're very much aligned in terms of, like you're saying, how do we get better every single day in terms of this podcast, and how do we live our best life? Breaking those down into fundamental steps, foundational steps that make sense in terms of a sequence that follows a calendar, and then going out there and living it. So there's a lot of big things in general, but specifically it's growing the brand, leveling up, progressing, getting better, and trying to raise my own awareness in terms of my personal legacy, the legacy I leave behind for my children, and that I impact the community in which I live. So that when you say Viliami Tuivai, most people will go, "Man, that was a good dude. That was a good dude." So yeah. In general, that's where I'm headed, Matt.
I love that. Because I think that, being somebody who subscribes to, mindset and getting better every day, I'm a firm believer that it doesn't take any special talent. I think that I'm a public school kid that came from humble upbringings. My wife's an immigrant to this country, first generation, very humble beginnings. And, we're able to create, for most people, it's not far between where you're at and where you want to go. It's about 4 inches, right up here in your head. And I've subscribed to that over the years. And you working with so many, individuals and companies, what can you tell me about how somebody can have that mindset switch to realize whatever it is they want to go after? And I think that the Get Better Everyday listeners are going after different things. Some are going after health. Some are going after money. Some are going after, power, prestige. I don't know what you're going after, but it's taking small steps, getting better every day. I feel like there's not anything that any of us can accomplish that's been accomplished by other human beings. It's just a matter of how focused are you able to get, and how are you able to continue to work towards something. A lot of the best things, don't come easy and they don't come fast. But what's your experience working with people on the mindset shift?
Yeah, so it's really intriguing that amongst the companies, so say the Fortune 1,500, 100 companies it is that I work with and coach nationally, and then as well as the billionaires, millionaires, and 100,000aires it is that I work with, The successful understand that mindset, emotional intelligence, perspective, and effective communication matters, but nothing matters more than what you do. And so there's a real intriguing fact about work and hustle, effectiveness and efficiency, and not just doing so without objectives. I mean, with a designed objectives that this is what you want to get done, and then you create the habits and the network as you perform and move forward to now not only become effective and efficient in terms of the achievement of your success, but now because you become what it is that you want, that now you attract what it is that you are chasing to now chase and be attracted to you. Come on, Matt. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Oh, first, no,
Come on.
you are
Come
speaking my
on.
language.
Come on.
I just moved offices, so I'm going
Yeah.
to take this angle. I've got to see. I've got this quote from Jim Rohn, and it's hung above my office in mortgage. I burned the boats, left the small business I was running behind, had just had my second kid, left, you know, all the comfort and certainty of that. I went into 100% commission mortgage. And so hopefully I can read it. Your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development, because success is something you attract by the person you become.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
you're speaking my language, and
Right.
you said two things. I want to pull this out, and I want everybody who's listening to hear what Coach V said, because he's talking to Fortune 100 companies, the highest level performers out there, that you can talk about 2023 being your best year yet. You can talk about hustling all you want. You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional about what you're chasing, because, to your point, you've got to take action. But there's a lot of people that can take action with no destination. You get in your car and start driving. If you've got GPS pointing you somewhere, you're probably going to get there. And if you're like me, who depends on the technology now, if you don't type in the address, you might get yourself lost. And
Right.
so in 2023, you have to be intentional about what you want. And I think, all the stuff that I read, all the leaders that I follow, all the stuff that I'm trying to soak up to get better every day, reminds me that, a lot of these folks, humble beginnings, big, huge, massive goals and dreams, intentional about how they're going to get that, relentless pursuit of that. Nothing can distract them. Nothing can knock them down, that they're not going to get back up and keep pursuing it, because they're so focused on it. They're so intentional about getting there. So, how do you coach around that? How do you coach around people facing adversity? We've got an economy in 2023 that's unlike one we've seen in the past. In my field of work with mortgage and real estate, 2022 wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. 2023 is not going to be the same. So, how would you coach a company saying, "Hey, listen, Coach V, it's harder out there. It's tough"?
Yeah, that's a great question. And people title me different things, and I do title myself. I self-define and self-title myself as a success coach. Yes, I'm a national keynote speaker. I'm not a motivational speaker, but at 15, 20 grand every 30 minutes, I'll be yours if you want me to. That's all good, whatever. It is that you define that. But again, just alluding back to what we were just talking about is what the successful do. This shit ain't this way because I say so. This is what life leadership and business says to us all. And one of the things that the successful understand, that no one is coming to help you. Yes, life is a team sport. Football is a team sport. Family is a team sport. Community is a team sport. Congregation and church is a team sport. But when it comes down to your own success and life fulfillment, it is a one-on-one and an inside game. So how it is that I approach coaching, as well as companies, corporations, I'm talking about 42 different industries, including mortgage, that I have no relevant experience, but they bring me in either quarterly or once a year to make sure that we just tap in and get realigned, right? Is that they are the key. Everyone is their own superhero. And you can continue to search for someone to mentor you and help you and coach you. But nothing happens without you being your own best superhero. And yes, be yourself, but be the best version of yourself. That's what 2023 demands. It doesn't give a shit how you feel, what you're thinking, what the hell the economy is, who the hell the president is. It doesn't give a damn. Your individual success that you put on, not shoot from the hip, just wake up today and try to figure out what it is that you want to get done today. No, a designed success path with an achievement and a bullseye that you go, this is what I'm going to do, and I am going to not quit until I figure this thing out. And yes, you do learn from your failures. But man, until you get these two things, and if you're listening, write this down. And it equates to what's called process, replicable steps that replicate success. Because if you're still trying to figure it out every single morning about what your process is, your replicable steps that is designed on a freaking calendar to achieve a certain amount of objectives or an amount of something, sales, money, right? Being happy is great, but it's not a tangible thing that I've seen a lot of people achieve unless they put tangible things with it. So the successful, as you're asking that question, so how do you help someone? Well, you have to develop yourself, as we just alluded to. Nothing that you will attract and or achieve or even become effective and efficient at will be anything that you want that you are not. And if you're searching to hire a bunch of people to help you do those things, I get all that, right? But until you become clear and distinct and precise about what you want and you become those things, and that's where it's at. It's an inside game. I coach every individual and every successful company that I've ever worked with, that it is you against you. Like what are the things it is that make you you, right? And there's 7 things that Coach V speaks, coaches, and trains on in terms of this aspect of empowerment. That you self-grant yourself permission and authority to do, become, and achieve what it is that you want in life, leadership, and business in at least 7 phases. Right? And you tell me if this makes sense or not, right, Matt? So personal, familial, spiritual, professional, financial, relational, and mental. You get those 7 aspects down in terms of level up, increasing and bettering your value proposition to the marketplace within your industry, to the company you work for, the company that's yours, what it is that is your dream. I promise you, not because I say so, this is how it works, that what you want will start to be attracted to you. You become more effective and efficient, and you overcome and overachieve any struggles it is that you're facing, and you overachieve. Instead of just winning one championship, you start to have a consistency of multiple championships. And I'm not talking about this shit from theory, Matt, right? I'm talking about from experience of how to win, kick ass, take names. I got more awards and stuff because of the teams that I have been a part of, but then every person plays an integral piece of their own dream. So how do I do that? That's the long version of saying, stop searching for somebody else to come save your ass. Become the best that you can be and be your own superhero. That's what I want to do. And that's what Matt did, right? Lying on the driveway. Right. I mean, your people loved you and they tried to help you. They came and visited you and all that. But until Matt became Matt's own superhero, I mean, look at all the big things it is that you do now. I don't even and have never met you yet. Yeah. Right? In person. Right? And everybody I know talks to me about you before you even reached out to me about, hey, man, you ever get a chance to connect with this guy, have this guy on your show, be on his show. I'm like, yeah. So that's how I would approach that, Brother Matt.
I appreciate those kind words, and that really resonates with me, because at the end of the day, like you said, no one's coming to help you, and somebody else can't want it for you. I find that with a lot of salespeople that I'm around, that I'm personally trying to coach, or I'm personally trying to help with, I can help give you the roadmap. I can show you the way, but you've got to walk it. You got to maybe run it sometimes. And so that's great. And one thing you were saying, I agree with those 7 components, right? Because if somebody is crushing it in business, with a marriage falling apart and kids that won't talk to them and they're 400 pounds overweight, that wouldn't necessarily be success in my eyes. And I know that going through 2023 goals and getting my team huddled around, asking them about theirs, we've got what my personal coach, who I've worked with for years, refers to as lead dominoes. When I'm showing up as a good husband, when I'm showing up as a good father, and I'm taking care of my health, the other stuff falls in line, right? And so I think that your 7 pillars is a good point. And for people listening, you want to make sure that you at least put some thought into, what are my lead dominoes? Are my lead dominoes when I'm spending time with family and I feel, loved and supported? Is that when I go out and do my best work in my business? When I'm getting in the gym 3 or 4 times a week and I'm feeling good about my health, I'm feeling like I can run through a brick wall, is that when I do my best work inside my business? Because I bet you some of that stuff is true for others, not just me. What's been your experience? You can tell me either personally or with clients with some of that stuff, how those things can help leverage each other.
Yeah, first off, let me start with this aspect. Here's the irony of success. To be ultra successful and make 150 grand plus in the United States of America, you have to be absolutely focused, totally immersed, and not distracted. Yes or no? Yes or no, Matt?
Yes.
But the irony to that is that ultra focus and that laser sharp focus leaves all of us susceptible to neglect. Let me say that again. That ultra focus and laser sharp, detailed, just focus on something to be successful, which is the demand. The irony is that hard focus and that sharp focus leaves all of us susceptible. And here's the first thing we give up is our health. Making the right choices for what it is that we eat and the type of activity that's required to be healthy, right? The second thing, that's my first pillar, is personal, right? And we give up the passions it is that we love to do. Like, it's snowing like crazy up there, right? Yeah, you could chase your goals 4 days this week, and on a Friday up hitting some fresh powder on a snowboard would be good, but we give that up. We give that up with this feeling that if we can sacrifice these things, I can have these things. And that's what empowerment and what it is that I coach, teach, and train is. You can have everything. It's going to be harder than you ever thought. It'll be really hard, but it will be worth it. What you get is only part of it. Who you become is everything, right? So that's the one thing it is that I would start with, is that, yes, you have to be that laser sharp focus and you have to be fully committed, but also make sure that you're aware so that you have a measuring stick of, hey, how am I operating in these 7 levels? And then not only have a thermometer, but then a thermostat to adjust and readjust according to time, place, and circumstance. But to your point now, mediocrity in one thing is mediocrity in everything, right? So do not think that your success definition in terms of the bank account or the number of sales or how I coach people that have hundreds of people on their real estate teams, thousands of people on their overall mortgage team, right? All over the country, right? But then all of a sudden they're in bad health and in critical condition and fighting for their life, right? We cannot live life that way. So here's an alternative. Try to be excellent in all things. What does that mean? It means adulting. Adulting isn't just making mature decisions, but freaking taking care of the number one vehicle that can both transport us into the future and in the present, and that's us. That's his body. And then you take care of the relationships that are most valuable to you. So what is it that if you have millions and millions of dollars and clout and you have influence and you're at these government deals and the president and the vice president and the secretary of state, the Pentagon, everybody knows your name. What is that if the people it is, if you died today, the people you love didn't think or knew you loved them? What does that equate to? Misery, right? What's the other word, right? Like people feel when they neglect things. What's the English word for that, Matt? Right? Regret.
Yeah.
Right? So that I'm just offering a point of view. You could do what you want. Everybody's grown, right? You could do what you want for your life leadership in your business, but I offer this empowerment and thinking of life this way that would afford you a better everyday of living, where you're translating, right? So you can become effective and efficient in terms of the achievement of your success. But if you're not translating that into joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment, love, and family time, you miss it. I'm just saying. And you
I
don't have to live this way, but it's something that and that's why I coach, married and want to be happily married executives. You
right.
know what I mean? Because that's what I am. That's what I believe in. And I really feel that brings that whether you're alive or not, that you have no regrets in this life or the next, depending on what you believe, Brother
Yeah,
Mark.
yeah. Luckily for me, I've got a great wife, keeps me grounded and reminds me, like, make decisions today that you're going to be proud of tomorrow and that you're going to feel good about tomorrow. And so, trying my best. And I think anybody who's run a business or chase big goals is going to have times they feel like, oh man, I let that part slip. But like you said, it's all possible. And I believe that too.
That's right.
I got a buddy of mine who talks about being a whole life millionaire, right? It's not just the bank account millionaire, whole life millionaire, relationships, health, all of that stuff. And one thing I want to pluck out of what you said, because it really hit me, and I want to make sure I'm going to rewind. I'm going to play it back 3 or 4 times for my boys. Mediocrity in one thing is mediocrity in everything.
And
You can't practice basketball and want to be great at basketball and not show up and work hard on your homework. You can't be a student who doesn't care about that stuff and then think that you're just going to pay attention to and be great at some things. If you practice greatness in everything you do and you show up and you do it to the best of your ability, then, like to your point, you become a person who's excellent in everything they do. So that's a special shout out for my boys, Ryan and Ethan. You guys, I want you to hear that. I want you to rewind it. And I'm gonna make sure they hear that, because you can't just show up, win, and wear you choose and expect to be great at it if you're showing up half-ass in other areas.
Yeah, and there's a Polynesian joke, because we're big folks, right? Big people, is that you can't half-ass anything. You got to whole-ass it, just like your whole life coach. You got to whole-ass it, baby. I don't know any, and I'm just saying, because not because I say so or Matt says so, but right, this is what success says, and this is what it demands, and whether you want to debate about it or not, is up to you. But this is really what success demands. But I
Yeah.
can I say one thing though? Let me also say this is what the successful do. The successful that I'm around now, I'm around a bunch of just amazing couples, billionaire, millionaire, heads of state folks. The successful know who to choose in a spouse and how to make the spouse relationship work. They are freaking great at it. Talk about excellence in just not just at work, but at communicating effectively in terms of what the other spouse wants. Because a lot of my clients, not all of them are male. I got basically a 65-35 split of executives that are female. And a lot of the females, they bring home the cheddar, right? But their men feel like they're part of the family equation, that they're just as valued, and that what they do in terms of taking the kids to the sports and making sure the groceries are done. I mean, that's half the battle for me, is just when I'm at home, like a day like today, is like I want the laundry to be done. I want the groceries to be done. By the time my wife, who's a labor and delivery nurse in South Sacramento, when she gets home, things are done. You know what I mean? That means, and she just so appreciates that, right? And that's another law that so many people that are successful that I have been around, they know the spouse equation is huge, and they also know that people don't give a shit what you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
That when people can't feel a genuine care and concern from someone, their business doesn't operate on higher levels, their company, their culture doesn't operate on high levels. So those are two things: spouse and the ability to really show genuine care and concern, empathy. I think that's something in a world that's very cutthroat, and you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I've been with the United States Secret Service, and it's, hey, these are the standard operating procedures. There's no gray area, right? But yet they're so awesome to one another, respectful, appreciative, and show empathy when stuff doesn't go right, right? And forgiveness. I think those are human attributes that the successful also know is very important, and they hold in high regard.
Yeah. Yeah. Through my lens and peeking into some businesses, I think that's, the businesses I admire and respect the most. You've got leaders who truly care.
Mm,
They care about the end consumer of whatever product that is they're selling, and they care about their teams at a high level. And so,
mhm.
as I grow as a leader, as I grow a business, that's the stuff I'm trying to emulate, right? Make
Yeah,
sure that, we're not just talking about 2023 goals as a team and how many clients we can serve and what, type of processes we're going to put in place, and, the SOPs and SLAs and all that other stuff, right? But like, what is this specific person in this department? What are their goals? What are their personal goals? What do they want to do with their family life? What do they want to do with their health? Because you actually care. And I've gotten some great feedback from, business to business partners that have referred us business over the years, and it's seeped through how much we care.
yeah,
We're gonna give
huge.
advice, and we're gonna do all we can. I literally got a message yesterday that I was almost in tears, because I've got a realtor partner said, "Hey, this guy's buying a new build. He's going to get a $20,000 credit. I'm sorry, unfortunately, in this case, he's going to use the builder's lender." I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
"All good. I want what's
yeah,
best
yeah,
for that person.
yeah, yeah.
Let me help you advise." And I gave him a little tips and tricks and how to do things better. And this partner, when you respond like that, hey, it's not about me. It's about the consumer. We're trying to conserve the consumer, whether they work with us or not. That partner reminded me that that's the kind of stuff that attracts business to us. We became that better versions of ourselves, to your point,
Hmm.
and we attracted
That's
business
right.
because of it, right? And more are going to come and say, "Listen, I know that I'm going to get the best advice from the Math the Mortgage Guy team, whether we work with them or not."
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, he's all about serving the consumer at a high level. So I really appreciate your insight today. That was really good. I look forward to talking with you and chatting on your show as well. As we wrap this thing up, any parting words or anything you want to put out there for 2023 to all the Get Better Everyday listeners?
Yeah, to all the Get Better Everyday listeners, please continue to tap in with my boy Matt, and just bring your notebook, take notes. It's great that you listen in and tap in, and with this visual platform, it's amazing. But what the successful do is they really do. They take notes. They don't leave things to chance. They don't freaking shoot from the hip. And there's two quotes from my book, Life Champion: Life Lessons That Yield Championship Results, that I like to offer for the audience for consideration. The first one is: life is struggle, struggle is life, misery is optional. I mean, that's how this life works, especially on championship levels, is that the rewards are high, but then also when you lose, man, it's big. And you have to understand that it's a mindset that this is just part of the deal, and then move forward from both your successes and your failures. And then the second quote is another Coach V quote that says, "There's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships." So I know it's so easy to look at how it would only benefit you and that you need to make the sale. But then when you have poise and you're a professional, that you make sure that you serve the client and or the market or your company in the ways it is that they need. And though it may take longer than your time frame, your bonus and your chatter is coming too. And neither of these quotes are this way because I say so. This is what life, leadership, and business tells us all. Thank you, Matt, for the opportunity to be here on the show.
I love it. Thanks, Coach V. I appreciate you, brother. Cheers to an awesome 2023.